Hi everyone, back with another session, this time one of my gym-based mobility sessions, mainly focused on hips as they were a little bit tight before that training session. So here's me just starting off casually on the mat, checking that the camera's working, always good. Sometimes you forget to push record and feel a right wally. I find this is a great way of opening thoracic region. The fingertips give you a little bit more range. Dropping into pigeon lunge for the hips, a little bit of glute as well on this one. A little bit of lunge, hamstrings. So not really holding these for any length of time. We don't want to stretch out our springs too much before performance. A little bit of a number 4 sit for glutes. I also find that a nice little stretch of the head can sometimes loosen out any thoracic tension. Other side now for the number 4 sit for glutes. You can adjust this by pulling the leg closer to hip region. Leg pulls by pushing the other foot away. These are pretty good for the hip flexor. A little bit of rotation here. So now we start to get busy. What we've got here is a little bit of the up-down stretch for the spine. A little bit of flex and extend. Left and right, I rarely see these done. People usually do the sagittal work, a little bit of rotation, but the lateral work tends to be missing. For me, it's important to warm the spine up 3D, mainly because it does move in multiple directions. So reach through now. Notice here that the hips remain stable as the upper body rotates. That puts a nice little bit of torsion through the lumbar spine. It kind of oils the engine, shall we say. A lot of my training is based in sagittal plane. But as mentioned previously on videos, I'm a big fan of warming up across that spectrum of possible movement. So going into extension now. Looking up, stretching through the abs and the hips. Very gentle for me as well. This is never more than kind of 2 or 3 plus on the 1 to 10 effort. With a stick, you could use a broomstick, a piece of pipe, or anything like that. So this would be very similar to the snake, I guess, that I did earlier on all fours, the wobble left and right. This is just the up version of it. This would be similar to the kneeling rotation where we reach through, keeping the hips as still as possible. Same thing without the stick. Hips neutral, reaching left and right. Same thing with the chest open. The famous bands now. I think we go kayaking next. So we've got the up and overs, the shoulder. I'm not a big fan of the word dislocation for obvious reasons. But I call these the up and over, mainly stomach to lumbar. You can also tighten the band up by moving the hands closer together or pull the band apart. So the kayak now, the paddle. I find these are really great, and the big thing with shoulder is we tend to get quite dominant in a couple of planes of motion, whereas the shoulder, by definition of being, obviously the joint, the nature of the joint that it is, it's capable of incredible range. And I think the quickest pathway to injury is to have a couple of areas of shoulder range where you're strong and the rest are not so strong. So some classic hip rotations here. You can work these at a different tempo. If I'm doing a cool down, I'll really slow these down and hold each side. If I'm looking at a warm up, I would do this as first gear and then maybe up tempo anywhere from 30, 50 or even 100%. It can act as a very good warm up for that region. These are pretty much my go-to for hip preparedness, shall we say. Back to the pigeon lunge again. So this really focused on hips predominantly. So if you're a runner, weightlifter, jumper, you might find this very beneficial just to kind of loosen up that section. Going through to lunge, just dropping the hips through, gives you a little stretch on the hip flexor. A little bit of rotation in as well. I find these great for prepping lumbar spine as well. So these are the glide throughs. Sit just to feel that pull, glide through, up and look. So similar to some of the yoga, the kind of variations of up dog, down dog. And there we have it. And a more specific warm-up followed that. Have yourselves a great day.